everyone, my name is Jenny. Welcome to the channel. Before we get started, I just want to say I am just a girl on YouTube sharing my experience, my personal beliefs, trying to help those that want the help. And if you're like me and you resonate with my videos, then make sure to like and subscribe, and so that way you don't miss any updates. Now, I do want to give a quick disclaimer for the topic of this video. If you are somebody that is triggered or gets emotional, which is completely fine, like I used to be like this too, over the topic of death, the afterlife, mindset, manifesting, anything that you think could potentially be a trigger, because this video is talking about like scary things, starting off negative. I'm gonna get to the point later of it being positive and why my mindset shifted about this thing. It's just my personal beliefs and my experience, but I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to put anybody in a bad state of mind. So if you're somebody that's like reacts to mentions of death and the afterlife and what is the world, then go ahead and click off now, because you need to put yourself first always. Now that that's out of the way, we can go ahead and get on to the topic of today's video, the void. What is the void? Is it real? It's a scary topic, and the reason is because it's just, to me, the void is eternal darkness. And I want to get this into this in a state of mind. I hope everything I say makes sense, because it's all like feelings and thoughts, and sometimes it's hard to portray that. So I'm just going to start from the very beginning. This came to me in a dream, and do you know Melanie Martinez? If you know her, in the song the Void, it's kind of like the same premise, but I'm not taking this from her song. Like, this came to me way before that song ever came out, and I resonated with it because, like, oh yeah, it's real. Okay, so the void, it's a state of being or the afterlife or right now. I had this dream, and it was way long ago, and I just felt it in my chest that it was real. Like, sometimes something presents itself to us in a dream or even a daydream, and then it happens, or then it's like a sign, or it's telling. To me, this was one of those experiences. A long time ago, I had this dream. This was like several years ago, and it was me, and there was this guide. It was a spirit guide, and he was taking my hand through the stages of life, but backwards. And so we see the adult, or we see an old person and then a young person, and going back and back and back through the stages of life. And then we see the before times of when we were just like not evolved yet, and back and back and back into even before then, to the first cell. And we were in this underwater realm, an aquarium, but we were also underwater. And it was like kind of futuristic. It was freaky. And I saw these manatees swimming by, and there was this white peacock. Well, that's besides the point. But at the end of the time, the end of the life stages, and he was telling me, this is all you, this is all you, this is all you, you are everything and more. And I was just like very emotional feeling. And then we get to the end, and there's this door. It's like a little, kind of like a Coraline door, but it leads to a button and it leads to a slide. And he says, are you ready to enter the afterlife? Are you ready to see what there is? And I was like, no, because I was scared. But he was like, you're ready. And he took my hand, and he pulled the door open, and he pushed me down the slide. And I go down this slide into this just dark abyss. And when I reached the bottom, it's nothing. I'm conscious. My soul is fully aware, but there's no sound. There's no light, there's no sign of human existence, there's nothing. It's the void of absence. And so when I woke up, I was very paranoid that this is showing me what the afterlife is. This is the afterlife. Like, when we die, this is where we go. And I was so scared of death. I used to never fear anything, but then I started becoming very paranoid. Even little things that I used to have no fear whatsoever, like going on a roller coaster, I can't do that anymore, because I'm like, what if this is it? Because I don't want to enter the void. Like, reality might suck, but it's better than the void. You know what I mean? And so it just became this fear, and for so long I was holding on to this fear of, what is the void? I don't want to be there. I don't want to die, because I don't want to go to the void. I don't want to be alone forever. And I realize now that all stems from emotional attachment and the fear of abandonment that comes from my childhood. Okay, I understand what this dream means now, and I want to share this with you so you can, like, if you're feeling similar, like scared of death, you don't have to be. And maybe you don't know what the void is, and I put that concept in your mind, and if I did, I'm sorry, but we don't have to fear this anymore. And it's really understanding the root of the dreams, what we're being shown, what our guides are showing us. I do believe it was a spiritual dream. I do believe that I was reflecting, and it led me up to this moment like 2 years later, where I am right now, where I now am excited and I seek the void. The reason is it goes into my manifesting power and changing my abilities and my beliefs, which affirming helped that. So if you want to know about affirmations, go ahead and check out my last video about what affirmations are, how to use them, and how to really grasp what they do for you. Anyways, that's beside this point. So when we come back to the topic of the void, I now resonate with it. I seek it. And the reason is because I lost the one thing I was so attached to. And I'm not going to get into it super personally. But there was this one thing that I was holding on to in my life. And I just, if I lose this thing, I have no identity. I have no sense of self. I have no self-concept. And to me, that was the void that was scarier than the void, because it's like, that's where the abandonment comes. I feel abandoned, I feel lost, and without this person I have no identity, and so my identity just becomes voided, which I actually do believe we are manifesting every single thing, every single thought, good and bad, even if we don't know it. So for example, I will tell a quick story. It's all going to wrap around and make sense, I promise. I know it's kind of like all over the place, but it's going to make sense in the end, so just bear with me. So I have a quick story. I moved out of my parents' house and, you know, had a boyfriend. I've known him for 5 years. He's my first in everything. I spent my entire teen years with him, entering my adult years with him. My home situation wasn't the best. You know, I felt very lost, and I became so attached to this person and getting out of my home that I would do anything to just get out. And once I moved out and moved on my own and got a place of my own, my biggest fear, my number one biggest fear became coming back home, having to move back in, not being able to make it by myself. And it was just clouding my mind. Now that I was finally away from the bad situation and into the good situation, it clouded my mind so much and so much and so much that eventually my thoughts, they shifted from I don't want to go back to I'm afraid that I'm going to have to go back to there's no doubt I'm going to have to go back. And it just became this gradual thing. And this is a negative side of manifestation. And it became bam, bam, bam. Because of that, I ended up having to move back. My biggest fear, my least want, became my reality. And at the time, I just realized, like, okay, I just have to accept this. Like, I did this to myself with my own thoughts. Because I was, in my mind, I had already moved back. Which is, if you know what manifesting is, you manifest what you already believe, what you're already affirming, what you already expect. And since I expected to have to move back, I had to move back. And let me tell you, when I was living with my parents before I moved out, it did cause issues with my relationship because there was so much like trauma and built-in resentment and just so much I was dealing with. I was not ready to be in a relationship, but he stuck through it, and you know, I'm grateful for that. But I figured, in my mind, I realized once I move out, I'm going to be free, I'm going to be okay, we're going to be stable. And that's exactly what happened. And then I started thinking, well, when I move back home, we're going to be unstable, we're going to be in a bad state of mind, he's going to leave me, I'm going to be abandoned. And guess what happened? Exactly that. And I felt just the abandonment when it happened, and I thought, wow, I really created all this for myself. And that's when I hit rock bottom, which I'm grateful for, because once you know you hit rock bottom, you can only go up. And I'm actually going to make a video about why hitting rock bottom is the best thing that can happen to a person. But anyways, how this ties into the void. So I started feeling voided. I started feeling empty. I started feeling lost. But then I thought, no. We are not going to spiral. That's when I started getting back into my spiritual beliefs and manifesting and really embracing that there is a greater power, even if it's just up here. And my life starts reflecting that. So how this ties into the void. So the void I was talking about is complete absence. It's nothing of life. It's only you in solitude forever. That's what it is to me. And your soul, your conscious being going there and being trapped. The great thing about getting there, hitting rock bottom, diving into the void, feeling empty, feeling lost, your mind creates everything all the time. So once you're in it, you can start creating a new life. You can start rewriting your story. You can start scripting a new version of you and a new version of life that you have, and watch your mindset change. The thing is, I now accept the void, and when I feel that way, when I'm scared of going in there, I'm no longer scared of going in there, because I know my brain is capable of creating an entire new reality. And I've actually had a conversation with somebody before about if the void is real, as in if we're already dead. I know this might be triggering. If we think about it like this, they say when you die, you see your life flash before your eyes. What if that is all this is? Well, my thought, well, our brain can't handle being alone. It can't handle not having something, not seeing something, not feeling something. And so if we're already in the void, if we're already dead, we would never know it because our brain can't handle that. And so it's going to create and create and create and create and create and make you believe everything that you're seeing and feeling is real when really it's not. It's just an image because you can't handle internal darkness forever. Here's where the manifesting comes in, and here's why I'm actually excited that I'm living in the void, that I'm already there, and I no longer fear it and I embrace it. Because now that I am there, now that I know that I am there, I realize this everything is fake, and not in a gruesome way, in an acceptance way, like okay, in an empowering way. Everything revolves around me. Each person is living in their own void. I'm living in my void. So all of this is just a figment of my imagination, meaning I am the most powerful thing. You know, like when you realize you're dreaming, you can start controlling your dreams. It's exactly like that. I can now have every single thing that I want, and every single thing that I want comes to me easy because it's all up here. I'm only seeing, I'm only projecting. And so once you start realizing none of this is real, so why does it matter? You can start creating your path. And before you say it, no, I've never taken any drugs, okay? This is all just spiritual belief, okay? Never been on drugs. Let's get that out there. But now when I sit and I manifest, I'll sit there, you know, or lay in bed, and I'll just think, I'm in the void, I'm in the void, I'm in the void. I embrace it, I embrace it, I embrace it. And then I start seeing the walls coming down, like my 3D, it's like it's fading out. It might just be an image up here, or it might be a feeling in my chest, but knowing that when I open my eyes, there's going to be nothing there. And that used to be really terrifying to me because even as a kid, I felt that. Like everything was just kind of fake. Everything was dissociated is another good way to put it. Dissociation isn't a bad thing, actually, once you get to the root of what it is. You realize that something doesn't feel quite right. Something doesn't feel centered. Something is in place and it wasn't there before. Or you lost something that should be there. You know you put it there and now it's gone. It's because none of it's real. It's because your brain is just making up as it goes. It's because we're in the void. And so now when I see the walls coming down, when I see the in total darkness, when I feel it, that's when I feel most powerful because now I'm like, okay, my powers are truly unlocked. I can start creating the world that I want to step into. I can start seeing the images because I can't stay in the void forever. My mind won't allow it because it's triggering. And so I can start creating the world for myself. I can say, I'm living in the best house. I'm living in the best life. And your 3D is going to start catching up to that because that's what you're putting in. And that's where affirmations come in and affirming your reality because you were so scared for so long. You're living in lack for so long that the void, your mind is starting to reflect that. And so now come back to the darkness, come back to the stillness, and realize that you can create whatever you want. You just have to start believing it, affirming it, accepting it. And now I just know that everything, my life is on the right direction. It's why I started making these videos, in fact, because I know that this is going to boom. This is going to boost off when the time is ready. And I know I'm stepping into my greatest power, my higher self. And I know I'm in the void right now. I know none of this is real. And I accept that, I embrace that, I'm excited for that. It's like true freedom. And once this body ages, once I'm no longer in this body, I'll be in the next one. Because our minds always create. If you're always in the void, there's always something going on. So don't fear it, accept it. And that's my beliefs on it. And now I think it's very powerful for manifesting. And I realize once I accept it, everything's coming into fruition. I wanted to put this out there for you guys, saying you don't have to fear it, in that you are not your limiting beliefs, you are not your negative thoughts, you are not your fears, you are not your worries. You simply just need to change the story and your 3D will reflect that, because we're all just in a state of stillness really, and we just don't realize it. And if you have a question like, well, why can't I move through solid things? It's because even though you're in the void, even though nothing's real, your mind is still tricking itself to make it feel real. Because once you realize it's not, once you realize you can like bend the laws around you, bend the world around you, your brain's gonna explode, because it's gonna realize it's gonna suck you back into the, you know, abyss of nothing, and you might break down. So you have to realize, like, that's the reason there's a barrier. It's not really a barrier. It's just your mind is creating it for you, just as it's creating your thoughts and your feelings. So even though you feel stuck right now or lost right now, know that you can create anything, because none of it's real. It's all in your mind. That's my hot take. That's what I believe. That's what's been keeping me going. So let me know if you resonate with it. I didn't mean to scare any of you if this is a little bit of a scary conversation. It's just my beliefs and what makes me feel good. So comment down below. You are the creator of your own reality. I love y'all so much. Stay healthy and happy. Till next time.